Hi all, I have a fascinating blindfold simultaneous game to show you, believe it or not, of Alexander Alekhine. This was played in 1924, and I did a little bit of research. Apparently, so this was played at the Alekhine Hotel of New York. It was part of a 26-board simultaneous blindfold against very strong opponents. So Alekhine overall scored 16 wins, 5 losses and 5 draws. That's pretty remarkable. I can't see beyond the first few moves if I was going to play blindfold. I find it, I just lose track of the pieces. It said this was probably the strongest of any blindfold exhibitions ever held. And in the next year in Paris, he played 28 teams of 4 players each, with the impressive result of 22 wins, 3 losses and 3 draws. So at this period of time, you know, Alekhine's visualization of the board seems absolutely amazing. Let's see what happened in this game. So it's Alekhine playing white against Abraham Frieman. E4, E5, and Alekhine plays a gambit, well, the centre game, but he makes it into a gambit here with C3, so not queen takes D4, but C3, and black plays D5, which seems quite a logical response. Hit back at the centre, E takes, queen takes, C takes, D4, knight F6, knight C3, and black pins that knight. Knight F3, we have knight C6, bishop E2, black castles, white castles, and now bishop takes C3. This does strengthen the centre and give white the potentially dangerous bishop pair. We have B6, so black though is adopting a kind of light square pressure strategy, try and fin so you can see that black's thinking light squares might be good, but there's C4 here and D5 gaining space, knight E7, and now knight D4. This is a very impressive knight. You might think it's a kind of liability on D4 to potentially, black playing C6. The thing is, let's see, bishop B7, bishop B2. Here, also bishop F3 immediately here is interesting, but bishop B2, and it seems black has got away with the possibility of now playing C6. If bishop F3 had been played, it would have been, clamping that down against C6. So it's as if it's been invited. So, for example, this position, white's got a solid position without the undermine. So it's been permitted, but remember, it's only a blindfold simul. The impressive thing here, though, I found, this is a quiet but really interesting move by white, keeping a lot of tension in the position, and with that tension to whip up potentially quite a strong attack. So this next move, can you guess what Alekhine played if I give you 5 seconds to pause the video? Okay, and this is not a computer move. This is what I find interesting. It's not a losing move either, and it still gives white potentially a small edge. It's bishop F3. Put this through a computer, and it's a bit duller actually. After D takes, for example, is a computer suggestion. If the queens come off, okay, white's got an edge, but it's not a magnificent position for a great attack necessarily. So this move, it represents a pawn sacrifice and putting the opponent in a pin. So here, C takes D5. So we have a pawn sack, pawn down, but rook E1, and there's a lot of pressure building up now. So pressure on E7, rook E8, and now queen D2. So the queen wants to go to G5. So potentially, pin that G7 pawn, and you see that this dangerous bishop on this diagonal, that white's kind of converging on the king side. So he's quite happy, with this pawn sack, I assume at the moment. Queen G5 here. We have knight G6. Probably black's best move is H6. Ask the queen to move, and then maybe take here. Now that the bishop has been protected, but there is knight E6, a technical move, knight E6, which gives white at least equality, but the queens would come off and it's boring compared to the game. So, but H6 was the way to go to kick this queen. But black sort of kept the attacking tension with knight G6. Now white gets another piece around the king, so there's a lot of pieces putting influence, like f6 twice, g7, and also, you know, the e7 h6 squares. It looks as though this is getting dangerous. We have rook takes e1 check. If black doesn't do anything, for example a6, then white will just take on d5. That's too good here. There's problems with g7, so if that's ignored, then white's just going to put even more pressure on the position. So black has to do something. If h6 here, then rook takes. If the queens come off, yes, at least the queens have come off. It's not mega dangerous. But in the game, actually, the tension kind of kept by black as well. Rook takes e1, rook takes e1, and just snagging another pawn. So Alexander Alekhine has been swapping pawns for basically attacking complexity and tension. But can he actually do anything with it? And here, this beautiful combination, which is how I found this game, it's from a puzzle from Philip, one of my admins. Rest in peace, Philip. He did a lot of puzzles for the chessworld.net database, and I looked up the game relating to the puzzle. So we're coming up to a puzzle position actually fairly shortly. So we have bishop takes b7 being played. Knight e7 is interesting. After knight takes, bishop takes f6, threatening mate, and that knight on e7. That would give a big advantage, in fact. So knight e7 is a pretty crushing move here. And if king h8, there's the spectacular queen takes f6 in this position. If taking, then that's checkmate with the bishop and knight. But also simpler is bishop takes f6 there. So on here, bishop takes f6 is simple and strong. But anyway, we have bishop takes b7, rook takes. And so in this position, yeah, there's a very interesting combination now being played. Can you guess the first move here? So white to play here, what would you play? Okay, a really, really strong move. Give yourself 100 points if you find this first move. Giving up the bishop here. So one key point, well, if g takes, then what would you play in this position? Okay, queen at h6, I hope. And if queen f8, the point here is, what's the crushing move in here? Okay, 100 points for this if you want to pause the video. Rook e8, just pinning that queen, trying to deflect it away from g7 for checkmate. So black is obliged, it seems, given queen h6, to play queen takes f6, but that gives access to this 8th rank with that check. The knight's pinned, and now here is a super cute little combination. I somehow sometimes the cuteness of a combination, I'm kind of excited for a day or two, or even more in this case. I don't know why. It's yes, easily pleased. I'm easily pleased sometimes, but there's a cute little move here. So 100 points if you find this next move. You really might want to pause the video and analyze and check your forcing move options in particular. Okay, so it's a really powerful forcing move. Knight h6 check. So the point here is, well, if the king moves, then that neglects the f8 knight. So we just take on f8. Sorry, just take on f8. So if the king moves, just take on f8. The other point is, sorry, after knight h6, so queen takes h6 was played. So what's the key point here, you think? If I give you 5 seconds to pause the video again. Okay, I hope you get this. Rook takes f8, yeah, very, very forcing move. King takes, and then queen d8 is checkmate. I just thought it was a very cute finish. If you want to check out puzzles like this, they're at Chess World if you do improved menu puzzles, and check out the puzzle set of Philip in particular. There's some great ones, especially by Alekhine, it seems. So yeah, I thought this was interesting. It's all the more remarkable given it was a blindfold Simul with like 26 opponents. So that's a remarkable feat of mental capability shown by Alexander Alekhine, I believe. Okay, if you want to check out Play Me at Chess World, there's bit.ly Chess World. They've got a new Discord channel. I'm asking for games you want to analyse or stuff, and talking about games I'm analysing and things. So that's okay. So there's bit.ly Leela Chess for Leela Chess players, and Magnus Carlsen Chess. Some key playlists there. Okay, thanks very much.